What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's daily market recap. In today's episode, I'm going to break down some of the most active stocks in the market today, and I'm going to share with you my own trades that I took this morning. Now, I'll tell you, we're at the end of the week, and it's been a relatively slow week, so I came into today with very low expectations. Of course, I still had my same daily goal, which is $5,000, but I expected that if I hit it, it would not be from one big winner. It would most likely be from a series of small base hits, and that's exactly what happened. In fact, I kind of feel like I'm in a little bit of a slump here because the last few days, it's been really slow, but it's not because of anything I've been doing wrong. It's just because we haven't had a lot of really good news catalysts that have been able to propel stocks up and put them on the top of the scanners. So let's jump onto the scans right now, and I'll show you our leading gainer on the day. Well, this stock's got very light volume. So the next one down is NUKK, NUKK. Now, this is a risky stock. This is a risky stock for a couple reasons. Number one, it's expensive, $36, $37 a share. You can see this morning, it put in a nice squeeze here up to $38, pulled back, dropped down, pops up, drops down, pops up, and then look at this rejection that you just got on the 1 minute chart. Little consolidation and slammed back down. You had another one earlier right there, big rejection, big rejection. So this is a stock that I could have very easily seen myself going deep red on. And I am proud that I was able to restrain myself and not trade it. But you know what? Here's the thing that I was realizing. It's easy for myself not to trade this because I'm not feeling desperation right now. I'm not in the red. I don't feel like I need to take a Hail Mary pass and take a lot of risk to recover losses. I've just been chipping away on base hits all week. So if we look at my P&L from the week, you can see how I'm really positioned in a place right now of confidence. You can see my equity curve here from the last 30 days. That's looking great. Yeah, the last few days, the profits have been smaller, but they haven't been red days. I don't have a big loss here that I feel like I'm in the shadow of. They've just been small green days. So the net effect is that my account just keeps getting a little bigger, a little bigger, a little bigger each day. It's not growing as quick as it will, when we get some more really clean action. But the fact that so right now I would say I'm trading on the defense. I'm being much more defensive about the way I'm employing my strategy. And I've had some people ask, Ross, how do you adjust your strategy during these colder markets? It feels like there's not as much moving, and somehow you're able not only to still capture profit, but avoid big losses. So something that I struggled with a lot earlier in my career, and I still struggle with at times, is that when it cools down, I'm not quick to take my foot off the gas. I keep trading aggressively, hoping, I don't know, that the hot streak will continue, and invariably catching a huge loss. And NUKK is 100% the type of stock that could have happened on. So why didn't this? So I guess a couple ways we can look at this on NUKK. Number one, yes, it is up, whatever it is, 73%. So it's our leading gainer right now. Why didn't I trade it? Well, when it first hit the scans, I immediately was familiar with the stock because I checked, well, you could check the daily chart, but even without checking the daily chart, I remember the symbol had, we had this huge move back in, what was it, December? I think it was December 17th. And this is a stock that was unbelievable. I mean, it went from like $1 a share, less than $1 a share, all the way up to over $80 a share. It was really incredible. And I managed to lose money on it, which was embarrassing. It was ridiculous. And the way I lost on it was that it was very choppy. And intraday, it had big spreads. So when you look at the daily chart, it feels like there's no way you could have lost on it. But on the intraday, you could have bought high, stopped out, bought high, stopped out. And that's what happened a couple times. So I already have a little bit of a bias with NUKK, just having recalled that I lost money on it in December. So when it first hits the scanner, I'm thinking, okay, it's popping back up. Yes, it made a big move recently, but the price is still fairly high. And because it's a higher price stock, it's going to have bigger spreads. Well, not all high price stocks have bigger spreads, but when you have a higher price stock and it's a 1 million share float, you're typically going to have bigger spreads. And you certainly do today on this one. In fact, if we look at the spread right now, it's 38 cents. So you've got a 30, well, now it's a 20-cent spread. So it's going to jump around, but 20-cent spread right now, 35.01, 35.13. So now for a second, it tightens up, then it gets a little bigger. And then, so it's an active stock, 12 million shares of volume. But the problem is here, if you wanted to stop out at 35, for instance, or 34.99, it's very possible you could get a lot of slippage on that exit because all of a sudden it drops and is in an instant at 34.50 or lower. And if you were trying to stop out to the short side, it can also pop up very quickly. So I knew that this was a stock that definitely carried more risk because of being higher priced, having lighter volume at the beginning of the move, and having a lower float. Now, I like volatility, but I need to be able to manage risk first and foremost. So then I'm checking the news. I'm saying, well, what's the catalyst on this? Regains compliance with NASDAQ. That's not really the most compelling catalyst for me. Yes, we do see that work at times, and obviously in this case it did, but is that enough to warrant the stock going up 100%? To me, it's not. Now, I don't want to be a negative Nelly and just give you all the reasons it shouldn't go up, because stocks can be irrational, but I would have preferred a more, more fundamental catalyst, something that was a bit more, just had more substance to it than just regaining compliance. I mean, it obviously indicates they were out of compliance, which was not a good thing. So yeah, it's good they're back in compliance, but it's like being off. It's like being off parole. Okay, well, good. I guess that's good. Good for you. All right, you're off parole. So they're regaining compliance. They're back in compliance. So now the stock goes up this much. I don't know. I just felt like I couldn't really trust it, and so when I first saw it popping up right here, I really had to restrain myself, and I saw it squeezing up as it sort of pushed higher. So it hit this high right here of 36.25, and then it drops down, it pops back up, it drops back down, does a little ABCD pattern, it pushes higher, but I was like, I can't. The spreads are too big. I just don't feel like I can buy these breakouts, and I don't want to buy a dip because it could dip a lot more. So I just missed it entirely. Now, as this was forming here on our 5-minute chart, we were getting a shooting star candle. So see that shooting star? It's a candle of indecision, right? It pops up, then drops back down. Then it pushes a little higher in spite of that. It's hard to trust that. Drops down, tries to curl up again here. And I was tempted to get in here, but I just said, topping tail, just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. And I'm glad, because it dropped all the way back down here to 31. And then, of course, it bounces, then pops and drops and pops and drops. And then, anyway. So enough said about NUKK. It's a tricky stock to trade. I'm glad to see that, some of you guys were able to break the ice on it and get some profit, but I just didn't feel I could risk it. So being on the defense, that would have been a stock that maybe on a day where I was feeling a bit more on the offense, a little more aggressive, I would have traded, but not today. So that stock was number one. Now VS, this is a stock that I also did not trade, but was up after hours. And the catalyst on this, the headline is expanding into Brazil, one of the world's largest gaming markets. So, all right, expanding into Brazil, pulls back, 4 a.m. pops up more, pulls back, 7 a.m. pops up, sells off, and then 9 a.m. pops up, sells off. No trades on that. I just couldn't trust it. Right here, I was watching it, but then it rejected. And at the open, I just didn't think it was safe. It had been under VWAP all morning long. The next one was ZEO, Z-E-O. This one I did trade. ZEO, however, doesn't have a clear catalyst. It's an energy stock, but without a clear standalone catalyst. Some sector strength, but that's it. So on ZEO, this is how I traded this one. Coming into 7 a.m., it had popped right here and was consolidating, and I thought this looked good, and then it sells off. And as it comes back up here and breaks over the VWAP right there, I say, you know what, I'm going to jump in this. And so I bought it at 382 right here. The goal was a retest of the high of day, $4, and we came up through 4 and we hit a high of 420. That was my best trade of the day. Now, on this one, being that it's a slower market, a little bit of a colder market, and this is how I traded it. So, so I took a starter on this at 382, added at 386, and added at 399. It couldn't break through 4 on the first attempt right here. So I sold the whole position at 95 and 97 for about 10 cents a profit. So I'm like, all right, that's a 10-cent winner. It dips down, and when it comes back up right here, I got back in. Now at this moment, when it hit this, I didn't know we might do another 2 red candles like that and come all the way back down here. So I was locking up being defensive, a small 10-cent winner. All right, it's not exactly what I wanted, but I'll take it. It's a winner, and it was my first trade to break the ice on the day. So this time of the day, it's all about building a cushion, building some momentum. So I get my profit there. It pulls back, it comes back up, and I add back there for the break of 4. So now it breaks 4, we get a squeeze up, I'm adding back, and we get a pop up to about 410, and then we top at about 420. We dip, and I take my profit. We dip back down, I add back at 4, it comes back up, I get back out at 415. So I ended up getting like 4 or 5 trades kind of right in this area. You know, basically entry, exit, entry, exit, entry, exit, entry, exit, kind of up in that area. Then it pulls back, it starts to reverse, it doesn't hold 4. And I was like, all right, well, that's that. So those were all of the trades I took on it, right in that little window right there. $2,900. You can see my P&L for the day. So $4,866.43. Very similar to my P&L from pretty much the other days this week. Yesterday was $5,600. The day before was $4,900. Day before that was $5,600. Day before that was $13,000. So, you know, these last 4 days have all been kind of right around the $4,800 to $5,800 range. And none of them have been just from one like really solid trade. It's just been, you know, several base hits. So got a bunch of base hits there on ZO. That kind of gave me a little bit of a cushion. So that was 7 a.m. So I'm trading that between 7 a.m. and like 7:15. And then at 8 a.m., 7:30, we didn't have any news. Nothing happening there. 8 a.m., AMIX pops up on the scanner. It hits a high of 4 right here. And, you know, this one, I jumped in up here at 434. I stopped out. I lost $500 on it. So I was like, golly. It drops down here. I bought 5,000 shares at the bottom of that dip with a stop just below 550. And it bounces back up to 4. Took the profit out and was up about 1,600 or so, 30 cents average on that position. So total profit, $1,200. Not a super clean trade. The 1 minute chart, you could see it's kind of whippy. Even on the 10-second though, it's also pretty volatile. So as it started to pull away right here, I added at literally the high a day. It drops and I stopped out immediately. So I had about 2,000 shares, lost 20 cents. It drops down here and right in this area, it bottoms, bought as it sort of bounces back up and then took my profit. And then it, you know, kind of went sideways again. And so I only got those 2 trades, 1 winner, 1 loser, but the winner was smaller, or the loser was smaller and the winner was bigger. So that worked. But disappointing. Now, this had news at 8 a.m. It actually had news. Has a relatively low float. It's popping up. Daily chart looks good for a curl. You know, no issue with it, but it wasn't able to hold up. I don't know why. Just cold market. People not as excited about these. I'm not sure. And then BTCT was the last stock I traded. This one just squeezed from 5 all the way to 750. I jumped on in the middle of that squeeze. Well, actually, I'll show you the spot that I took the trade. So this one, let me do it on a 10-second chart. It's going to be easier to see. All right, so on this one, it squeezed all the way up here to a high of 750. It drops back down. I bought the dip down here. It bounces back up to 720. Just a quick dip trade. That was it. 1 trade, dip trade, and that was it. So really today took probably 5 trades on ZO, 2 trades on AMIX, and 1 trade on BTCT. Less than 10 trades today. Won't have a lot of commissions. You know, kept it light. Got in, got out, got a couple base hits. Average winners today, probably 6 cents a share. You know, not a lot. Average losers were 20 cents a share on that one on AMIX, and I had a small loser on ZO, but it was probably only like 5 cents a share. So, you know, the profit loss ratio today was good. The accuracy was pretty solid, but there just weren't a lot of opportunities. Now, as we came into the open, BZAI did pop up. This one's a somewhat recent SPAC merger. So it's a special acquisition company that did a merger. So it IPO'd a company. As soon as it IPO'd, it sold off pretty dramatically. Today, bouncing up a little bit, but didn't trust that. XCUR, didn't trust this one either, popping up a little bit. If we look at volume today, so highest volume, you can actually see, surprisingly, it's on INTC. So that's got the most volume today of anything. Now, this reminds me of the kid who bought $700,000 worth from grandma's money. I think that was on this day here. The next day it's down like 30%. Anyways, we retail traders don't have an edge. We have to be so careful. So yeah, it's back up a little bit, but off the lows. It's pretty embarrassing. So anyway, so that's that VS 56 million PRZO. This one popped up, didn't trust it. It's popped and dropped a couple times recently, so I just didn't feel like it was safe. LAES, another one that's popped and dropped a few times recently. Don't feel like it's safe. So you could see we just don't have anything that's really crushing it today in terms of volume that people are really excited about. And it's Friday, and it's going into a long weekend. Markets closed on Monday, MLK Day, and Monday's also Inauguration Day. So markets are closed on Monday, and that means we've got a long weekend. So the market will be closed Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, 3-day weekend. We'll be back at it on Tuesday morning. So this weekend, stay tuned for some uploads here on YouTube. Just because the market's closed doesn't mean you can't focus on learning more and educating yourself. So I hope you guys tune in for those episodes. I hope you hit the thumbs up. I hope you're subscribed to the channel. And I'll remind you as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical. So please manage your risk, take it slow, and always practice this simulator before you put real money on the line. I'll see you for the next episode real soon.